Lee, Happy New Year.
Merry New Year to you.
And I don't know about you, but I fancy some wrestling this year.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's kind of what we know a little bit about.
It's not too long ago we had Fight Season, last October, in fact, where they put all of the big indie shows together in the space of a month and rammed it down our throats, but in a good way. And by the end of it, it was like, well, I'm ready for a break from wrestling now. And I've had a little break from wrestling now, and I'm ready to get started again.
Well, things are already kicking off, aren't they?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's good because, I'm ready for some more shows. I'm ready for some new stuff. And we've got shows coming up this month, next month. In fact, we've got shows coming up for the next few months that we can already talk about and already get excited about.
Yeah, the first one that we're really taking a good look at is Shine 16, which is coming up a week on Friday. We've now had it confirmed that it is going to be Rain versus Ivelisse Velez for the Shine Championship after much umming and ahhing by the challenger. Also announced for that is Angelina Love versus Leah Von Dutch and Alison Kay versus Jessicka Havok in a no DQ match as well.
There's been a bit of umming and ahhing around my house as well. I was a long-time fan, and I'm a long-time fan of Rain, but I don't know. I'm Team Ivelisse for this one.
I'm probably with you on that one. Just partly because, over the last year or so, Ivelisse has become one of these people who I've been really, really interested in seeing. It's like, Ivelisse is wrestling against who? Yeah, I want to see that. Yeah,
absolutely. She is one of the people in the last year that really just made me want to see her every time she wrestled. 25th of January, LCW Roses debuts in the UK.
Yeah, all 6 matches have been announced for that now. Amongst them, Rhea O'Reilly versus Addie Starr, Nikki Storm versus Erin Angel versus Kaylee Ray. One that I'm really looking forward to is Pollyanna Peppers versus Felony, just because I'm really interested in this Felony character.
Yeah, absolutely. And because it's indie wrestling, there's a Rumble.
Yes, there is.
Yes,
there is. With implications from that triple threat. So the winner of the Rumble, the winner of the triple threat, gets to become the final entrant into the Rumble. The person who is pinned or made to submit becomes number 1.
Yes. Also coming up on the docket, February 8th, Women's Superstars Uncensored returns to Voorhees, New Jersey for another show which I don't think it's been confirmed as being on pay-per-view yet, but I imagine it's going to be part of the iPay-per-view deal, usually through czwiPay-per-view.com. And that's going to have Jessicka Havok defending the WSU World Championship against, hang on a minute, our guest on this show, Portugal's perfect athlete, Shanna.
That all works out quite nicely.
It's almost like we planned these things.
Indeed. Also announced for that card is finally Sassy Steffi and Alison Kay put the tag titles on the line against Kimberly and Annie Social.
Yes.
This match has been in the pipeline for quite a while.
Yes. Also, I'm going to mention this on this weekend as well. It's February 9th in Richmond. It's going to be Extreme Bombshells Wrestling. Leah Von Dutch versus Courtney Rush in a cage.
Indeed. That's going to be Rush's, I believe, second match back since her comeback from her injury to her clavicle.
Yes.
So, talk about a baptism of fire.
I am thoroughly excited about that one. Bellatrix.
What else?
Bellatrix is coming up in March 2nd.
Yeah.
Bellatrix 8. That's going to be Courtney Rush versus Liberty. It's going to be Sammy Baines versus Blue Nikita. And hey, look, a Rumble!
A 30-woman Rumble, no less.
This is going to be a timed entry 30-woman Royal Rumble style match. Gonna be crazy, and I'm going to be calling that shit. So let's see how that goes.
This is going to be, I believe, the biggest array of all-female talent in one place in Europe.
Yeah, 30 of them. I mean, that's crazy, and I don't even know if the people who are in the 2 main events that have been announced so far are going to be in that Rumble.
Possibly not. We kind of ran some numbers and thought it is possible in Europe to have that many women.
Sure. So yeah, that's going to be something to behold. April 5th is going to be Shimmer in New Orleans, part of WrestleMania weekend. That's going to be on iPay-per-view as well through WWNlive.com.
Following week is the Shimmer DVD tapings in Berwyn, Illinois. Tickets for that are on sale now.
Yes. And then April 19th, NCW Femme Fatale 14. More Courtney Rush action. I have no problem pimping that. Against cheerleader Melissa in a 30-minute Iron Woman match.
And the winner of that match becomes the first contender for the NCW Femme Fatale International Championship, currently held by Mercedes Martinez.
There you go. Hey, Mercedes Martinez, you say?
Yes.
She was our Wrestler of the Year for last year.
She did all right, didn't she?
She was very good, yeah. Look, we've already explained. Go back and have a look at our awards for explanation as to why Mercedes Martinez was our Wrestler of the Year last year. There were a few strong competitors, a few strong contenders for that. But I think when you look at Mercedes Martinez's output, pretty much any year in the last decade, she never really has a bad year, does she?
No, and the good thing is about Mercedes is that her opponents also look the best that they can in the ring with her as well. She has this amazing ability to be able to bring the best out of someone.
Yeah, that was one of the things that really swung it in her favour, and that was like your ability to take someone like Sweet Cherry and NCW Femme Fatale and turn her into, not only just a plucky local babyface who's, got a cult following in Montreal, to becoming a credible main eventer. She was able to do great things with Solo Darling and Shine. Do you remember how much we loved that match?
That was a great match.
Yeah, she did that a lot of times last year, where she got to wrestle younger girls or less experienced girls who had the time of their lives getting to stand in there with one of the best in the world. So it's one of those things where, much like Ayako Hamada the year before, our Wrestler of the Year was just literally the woman that we thought was the best at this whole wrestling lark.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that you just look at her and you see Mercedes Martinez come out, you think, there's no way that this match is going to be bad. It's not possible.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not sure the last time I saw a bad Mercedes Martinez match.
Indeed. But that wasn't the only award that we gave out at the end of December.
No, it's become a regular occurrence now that we give an award to Kimberly.
Yes. It is now a tradition. We've done it twice.
Yeah, we're going to have to possibly invent another award next year just to keep the streak going. But, she went from the Discovery of the Year in 2012 to being the Breakout Star of the Year in 2013. She's not the finished product even yet, but my God, does Kimberly steal the show in pretty much every show she's on.
Like Eva Lee, she's one of those people you look at and you think, I want to know who Kimberly's wrestling. Okay, now I'm sold.
I don't want to just kiss ass too much here, but I don't even care about that. Kimberly's on the show, I'm buying a ticket.
That is fair enough.
I don't even care who she's wrestling, because it's probably going to be good.
Speaking of Kimberly as well, I just have to point out that I did, thanks to you, get to see the barbecue skewers segment from the last CZWI pay-per-view from Cage of Death 15, and Jesus H. Christ.
Yes. Yeah, I saw the whole match. The match was good, but it paled in comparison to the visual after the match.
It's terrifying.
Where like you say, Christina assaulted Kimberly with these barbecue skewers and stuck them in her head.
This is one of the most terrifying things that I've seen.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It was pretty unsettling. Check it out on YouTube. We'll link you up, because if we can't sleep, you should be able to sleep either.
Yeah, thanks for the nightmares, guys. I appreciate it.
And as far as another award winner last year is concerned, Nikki Storm.
Yes. She was our Discovery of the Year. Not our discovery as such,
the thing.
But the world's discovery.
We discovered her several years ago. You discovered her even longer before that than I did. You were like possibly the first person on the Nikki Storm bandwagon.
I may not have been the first, but I was near them.
You were within the first huddle, certainly.
Yes.
And, we've seen Nikki for a while. We've known how good she is for a while. And everybody else, though, this year was like, holy shit, Nikki Storm.
Yes, Japan and the US both found out.
Yeah. I mean, we make the final decisions on who wins the awards, but, we do tap up a few opinions from people whose, opinions we value. And Nikki Storm was a name that came back time and time again. It's not something that we would necessarily have thought of, but given that the people that we talked to all said Nikki Storm, Nikki Storm, Nikki Storm, it was one of those things where, yeah, she had to win that award.
However, she may be the last person to win that award.
We've talked about retiring the Discovery of the Year award, and possibly
because of sort of blurred lines. I hate to quote that frigging Robin Thicke song, but because of that, it's your definition of discovery depends on who you are. So we figured we want to have something that was a little less ambiguous.
Yeah, I talked to a promoter stateside. I'm not going to say who, but they said that their Discovery of the Year was definitely Nikki Storm, and I was discussing with them somebody else that we were considering for that award, and they said, well, to me, they're not Discovery because I've known them for 3 years. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Depending where you are in the world, people discover things at different times. So I think we're possibly going to just have something like a Hot Prospect Award next year, or something similar. We've got a year to think about it, basically.
We're possibly thinking about having 4 awards just to make it nice and comprehensive. But I don't think we're going to have more than 4 because I don't want to dilute it too much.
No, because otherwise we're just giving an award to everybody.
And we actually do send these awards as well.
That's true. Cost me a lot of money to post that award to Mercedes Martinez, but
the award that I sent to Kimberly, I went into the post office to go send it. It was cocooned because there's glass in it, and I'm thinking this is just going to cost me forever. I might as well just give them a kidney or something.
Yes.
Luckily, it didn't cost a kidney.
No, thankfully. But yes, there you go. Hey, look, we've accidentally managed to segue into a bunch of links that we weren't intending to segue into during this intro, and I'm going to segue from kidneys to Mae Young.
Oh God!
I know. I'm sorry. But it's there. It's staring me in the face, and I don't want the podcast to go past without mentioning Mae Young. Look, she's in a bad way, everybody. There was obviously the story that broke last week that she had passed away, and the story that she had been on life support, and that she had basically, her kidneys were failing. And obviously there's been a slight issue with the reporting of that due to the fact that, she didn't actually pass away. So, how much of everything else that we've heard is entirely correct, I don't know.
Well, there's a bit of questioning about whether she was actually on life support.
That I was going to say, yeah. So if we take the kidney failure thing as at least being an accurate report, then it's probably fair to say that, she's not going to be getting better from this. She's in a bad way, and she's gonna pass on at any time. And I just want to take this opportunity just to say, we've discussed it privately in the last few days, but goddamn, Mae Young was awesome. She was somebody that I didn't really enjoy when she first came back with her and Moolah when they first turned up in WWF after Moolah had been gone for a long time. But I really, really learned to enjoy and respect Mae Young. That's somebody that's lived her life on her own terms, reached the age of 90, never took a back step to anybody. Bless her.
There's a few old stories as well that I've been watching recently. One with Bully Ray talking about the power bombs that he did through tables and off stages and stuff. And she was given maybe help to say, look, but Bully Ray would say, look, I will take the impact of this and you'll be okay. And she's pretty much say, screw that. And she would take the whole bump for herself, and that's the way she wanted it. She pretty much dared Hardcore Holly to clothesline her as hard as he could.
I heard Hardcore Holly tell that story a little while ago on a podcast interview he did. And yeah, I think he basically intimidated him into doing it. She was like, you either clothesline me properly or there's going to be trouble afterwards.
Yeah.
And he leveled her, and afterwards that was it. She was happy with that.
This is a woman who's as tough as old boots.
Yeah. So I think with Mae Young, she's one of those people who, even by the time you listen to this show, she may have passed away. At the minute, we don't think she has. But she's not somebody that's going to require or should have a lot of sadness. It should just be that's one of those people, she had a great life.
Absolutely.
That's somebody just to look back at and share some stories because, again, I was going to say bless her. What a great woman.
Absolutely.
So there you go. Look, on that note, we're going to move on now to happier times. We're going to move on to our interview guest for this segment of the show. And this is somebody who's, to be honest, she would have been in the running for Discovery of the Year this year as well, as far as the Americans were concerned, because I think most of the continental United States fell in love with her this past year.
Oh, God, yeah.
Between appearances on Shine, WSU, AIW, Girls Night Out, other places as well. We're talking about Portugal's perfect athlete, Shanna, here. And she's making it her business to get up all in your business, America. So it's the perfect way to kick off the podcast for 2014 as we welcome Portugal's perfect athlete, Shanna, to the podcast. Shanna, welcome.
Hello.
Hi. And I'm saying welcome, and it feels like it's a long time coming. The people who listen to the show don't necessarily know this, but when we're organising guests, sometimes it takes a while to get together with the guest. And I think before we finally got you on the show, I think it was about 2.5 years ago we first asked if you wanted to do a podcast with us.
I know it was a long, long time ago.
Really long time ago. So
it was pretty much straight after the Eve versus Ice Ribbon show, which was October 2011.
Is that? Oh God, yeah.
That was that. That is old.
and you were like, you were like, oh yeah, I'll do a podcast, and we've just never managed. We've just never managed to get it all sorted out before now. So, yeah. Here's the thing, though, for the people who are listening to this, again, you're not going to know this, but we were going to talk to you a few days ago, and you weren't able to make that call because you were in a car crash.
Yes, it was.
That's a pretty good excuse.
It was ridiculous. I didn't get seriously injured, just a little bit sore, but yeah, it was just this douchebag that didn't respect the stop sign. So, to avoid crashing into his car, I went into a wall. But yeah, he then felt the wrath of Shanna after that. I just got out of my car and started calling him all sorts of names, and he didn't even dare get out of his car. So yeah, that's how it was.
You probably could have double stomped him off the wall or something.
Well, maybe jump on top of his car and then double stomp his face. I really wanted to do that.
Is this Paris driving? Is this what it's like? It's just a constant battle against other people?
I don't live in Paris. I live on the outside, on the outskirts of Paris. But yeah, well, driving in Paris is a nightmare. Driving over here, you get the occasional douchebag, like everywhere else, So.
Fair enough. We'll allow a car crash as being a pretty decent reason for not joining us a few days ago. But we are finally happy to have you here. And I mean, one of the reasons that we've got you on now, particularly, is the fact that in the next month you're going to be going stateside again for another US jaunt, where you're going to be part of WSU's Mutiny show on February 8th in Voorhees, New Jersey, where it's been announced at the minute you will be challenging Jessicka Havok for the WSU World Championship.
Yes, I am. As the winner of the International J Cup, that's a right I have to to challenge the current world champion, which is Jessicka Havok.
There you go. Now, as we record this, I just want to let anybody know that wants to go to this show. It's going to be Voorhees, New Jersey, February 8th. Tickets will be on sale shortly from LukeManoFans.com. Just go to the store there. You can get your event tickets. I mean, Shanna, how have you enjoyed... I mean, this past year, 2013, has been a fantastic year for you to be able to get yourself off to America. You had 2 big tours over there. I mean, what have your experiences been like going off to America? You seem to have got over wherever you've gone.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. The fans received me really well over there in the US, and that's why I want to go back. And I want to spend a lot of time in the US for 2014 because I really enjoyed that experience. I had other plans for 2014, but I think that I might just stick to establishing myself in America for now. I didn't want to go to Japan, but I feel that it's getting very crowded. It's a good place to wrestle, but it's getting very crowded, as in everybody's going there, which is amazing. But me going there wouldn't bring anything, new or exciting to my career. Whereas what I'm doing in the US right now is pretty good. I'm working with WSU, with CZW. With Absolute Intense Wrestling and with Shine, which these are like really big companies over there. So I think I will stick to, for now, just going more and more to the United States, get to the fans to know me more over there, just become a regular over there.
Well, you'd made your US debut as far as WSU was concerned at the Uncensored Rumble last August.
Yeah.
wrestling in a mixed tag match alongside Chris Dickinson, lost to Addy Starr, Matt Tremont, and then you're also part of the Uncensored Rumble match as well. But it's kind of your second trip back to WSU where things started clicking, I suppose. Like you mentioned with the International J Cup that you won on the Second Secret show.
Yeah. It's actually it's overwhelming because I wasn't expecting to I don't know, it's that things just click so fast. I beat Santana Garrett, which is one of the best workers that the United States has right now. Jules Malone from Canada, she's pretty awesome as well, and Nikki Storm for the finals. She's really tough. Like everybody knows Nikki Storm is like it's a one tough cookie, and it's pretty big as is, and then now with the title shot. Can you imagine if I become world champion for Women's Superstars Uncensored? That would be just like, wow. I have no other words to describe.
I'm going to put my pimp hat on quickly. I'm going to say, if you want to see the secret show that Shanna's talking about, the International J Cup, you can go to streamwsu.com and sign up for that one. Both of the secret shows are up there, plus a whole bunch of old WSU shows as well. Shanna, you talk about things clicking really fast. It must have given you at least some sort of clue when you were all over the poster for the very first show you were on in WSU. You were the main person on the poster.
Yes, I was. I felt really happy. It's I'm not American. I always thought that because I'm not American, I wouldn't get that sort of attention. I wouldn't be the poster girl, but being the attraction. But it kind of worked. Not the way I was thinking, and I'm happy about it. Like, I'm really happy. Like, I don't know if you know about the SHINE now, the SHINE billboard. I was on a billboard in the highway. It was really big.
You did see that?
That was amazing.
Yeah, it's not bad going. I mean, of your experiences in the WSU and SHINE and AIW shows on your first two trips to the US, what was your favorite? What was your favorite experience? What was your favorite show to be part of, or what was your favorite match?
That's a tough one. I've had a lot of good matches. I've wrestled a lot of amazing talent. I think that my favorites were working Mia Yim, and that's something that I want to do like ASAP. Just a one-on-one, not a three-way this time, a one-on-one, because I think that would be really good. But I think my absolute favorite was against Angelina Love. She was so easy to work with, and she's so savvy and so experienced, and I learned so much with her. It was overwhelming.
I remember the promo video you did for that match, where you were impersonating Angelina, and I don't know, I can't remember exactly what you did, but you caked on the makeup and wore a big blonde wig, and yes, you were quite well endowed in the chest area by some way. I'm not sure exactly how. And
I can tell you how. A lot of towels.
Fair enough. We're going to find out.
A lot of towels. Massive boobs made out of towels.
I mean, this is something that you've done before with when you kind of poked fun at Kaylee Ray as well. Do you enjoy kind of sending up your opponents like that in your promo videos?
Yeah, I love making fun of them. I think I really enjoy that. I enjoy wearing wigs. I focus on selling the matches, but I love to give that that little touch that people know that that's me and not anybody else. Because in my opinion, promos tend to be all the same. So I wanna just be different in some way. And why not wear wigs and massive boobs made out of towels?
Why not? Yeah.
Why not?
I have a question regarding your US tour, because one thing, I mean, we got to see you in WSU and AIW and SHINE and so on. And it was WSU especially, and I think AIW even did it as well. And it infuriated me because we've known you for years on the UK scene. But the first time you were over there, they all seemed to think that your name was pronounced Shayna.
Oh my God, I have no idea how many people, coworkers, announcers, like just pretty much everybody just saying, is it Shauna, Shayna, or Shauna?
Right.
Whatever you want to call me.
It's funny when you look at it though, because I just see Shanna. I can't see it pronounced any other way. It's like I look at it and think, how can somebody think that it's pronounced Shayna?
Or Shayna, or Shanna, with the American accent, Shanna.
Well,
It's been, I don't know.
it does bring us out to another question. It's like, where does the Shanna name come from? Because we were trying to look through the pages of history for big names who've been called Shanna, and the only one that we could really find was a character from Marvel Comics.
Oh yeah, Shanna the She-Devil.
Oh my God, it was that one.
Actually, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
It's not.
It doesn't have anything to do with Shanna the She-Devil.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah,
slightly disappointed.
But wait for it. This is big. This is big. My name, Shanna, came from my real name, Alexandra. It's the shortened in Portuguese for Alexandra.
How's that work?
That's a Portuguese thing.
It's just the way it works.
There's no N's in Alexandra. This makes no sense.
It's just the way it's written. Like the shortened in Portuguese it's written with an X, so it's Xana. I kind of changed it a little bit, to make it more exotic, but it's exactly the same.
Well, that clears that one up then.
That's kind of cool, but not as cool as Shanna the She-Devil.
Well, let's just say that it's all about Shanna the She-Devil, and I've always been a big fan of hers.
I have too. This must be something to do with the leopard print bikini. Anyway,
let's just say that.
Anyway, here's a question now. We were thinking about this as well, because we were looking back over your career. The first time that we saw you wrestling was in 2010 for Pro Wrestling Eve. But you've been wrestling before that, and in fact, from biographical information about you, it says that you debuted in 2006. Now, I don't know anything that happened in your career between 2006 and 2010, so there's this big black area in your past. Fill us in. What were you doing for 4 years?
All right. I first got in touch with the wrestling in 2006. As in, I met a group of people that opened a wrestling academy over here. In Portugal, in Lisbon, I started hanging out with them, but I wasn't really training. I only started training in 2007. Right. And I stayed in the academy for like 2 years training, and I've been a part of web shows for that small company, so I didn't really do anything big until quite recently, actually. But between 2007 and 2009, it was only training. I had my debut match for Wrestling Stars in France in 2009. It was the 6-man mixed tag.
Right. So really, I mean, you really only debuted properly in 2009 then?
Yes.
Which means, quite frankly, when we saw you in 2010, after only a year in, that's even more impressive.
Thank you.
I find it scary because we were watching and you thought, okay, this woman's really polished at what she does. Where has she been? Who is this person who's been wrestling for all these years that we've not heard of?
Well, there's a lot of companies all over Europe, like in Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, Belgium that you don't really hear about, but they do shows. They do local shows, house shows. And I was touring, Europe before going to Pro Wrestling Eve. So I had already done some work in Germany, in Belgium, in France, in Spain, in Portugal. So I was under the radar for the UK and the US fans, but when it comes to Europe, as in, the rest of Europe, I had a lot of work and a lot of dates, a lot of shows. I was polishing my art.
Is it fair to say then that as a female wrestler in Europe, you can't really just stick to one country? You have to really travel around.
Yeah, there's not a lot of shows. I mean, a company that runs often will run like once or twice a month, maybe, and there's not a lot of those. So if you want to earn some money and if you want to wrestle a lot and gain a lot of experience, you have to travel. And in my case, I had to move from Portugal to France, because France it's in the center of Europe, so it's so much easier to go to like everywhere, and that helped me a lot on my career. Just just the easy access to every other country to get work.
I suppose the obvious question to ask at this point is, I mean, obviously you threw yourself into wrestling pretty much completely if you're willing to move countries to make life easier for yourself. I mean, what was it about wrestling that grabbed you originally? Is there a wrestler who inspired you, or what got you into the business in the first place?
Well, I first started watching wrestling when I was little. My dad used to watch it, WWF. So I would sit down and on the couch and he would be all Hulk Hogan and I would be all Roddy Piper, so that's when it all started. But there was not any wrestling in Portugal back then, so I couldn't start wrestling young. I started actually very late. I started wrestling at my wrestling training at 25, I think. So yeah. So I think it's fair to say that that what inspired me and seduced me onto this is it's the the characters, the Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, Macho Man, all those people were larger than life, and so I just wanted to be like them. I wanted to be to be under the spotlight. I wanted to be an entertainer. I've always loved competition and sports, and wrestling is a sport. It's something very demanding physically as well, so it was kind of a good mix for me, something that I wanted to do, I started doing, and I love doing, and I will never stop loving it.
So what were you doing before then? I mean, if you started learning to wrestle at 25, what were you doing as a career before then?
Well, I finished my studies, and I was working in marketing.
That kind of makes sense, actually.
Actually, my last job before moving to France was I was a business to business. I was working in business to business, as in I worked for an electronics company. So I would manage all the transactions of products between the main source, the main company, and the stores. So yeah.
But so I understand wrestling is kind of the career now, isn't it? Is that right?
Yes, I'm not doing anything else besides wrestling. I have a few projects, but wrestling is my main thing right now.
I mean, there must be a very small amount of women in Europe who are able to say, wrestling is my career. This is what I do. This is my primary source of income.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to make a living out of wrestling. You really have to travel a lot. You have to earn your value, and then you can't go down on your value, otherwise other people will start paying you less and less and less, and then that's how a lot of people end up not earning a lot of money. It's because they want to move so badly, they don't establish themselves somewhere and establish a wage, and then go somewhere else and establish the wage again, and then that's how I did it, and I never went down on my prices per appearance, and that's how I make my living now. I can actually fill in my schedule and go around the world and then come back, and and have enough to, to pay a house and eat and, just live.
While we're talking just about Europe and schedules and things like that, ABC Catch is something which you've been sort of heavily involved in as far as the resurgence of a women's division there, especially in France, because we were talking before, and in France, there hasn't really been that much of a women's scene since Queens of Chaos died out in the middle of the last decade.
And we're so glad that died.
I think we could probably all agree on that one, yes.
Oh my God, that was nasty. But the name was pretty wicked. I wish that they didn't use that name, because I would totally use it right now. But yeah, I'm involved with ABC Catch. We're trying to get a female thing going on over here, but it's really difficult because ABC Catch is located in the south of France, and the public in the south of France, they're very laid back, and they all love rugby. So they are not really wrestling fans. So I'm actually thinking about moving that up to the north of France, where I can get more attention and more people interested in it, because the public in the north of France, they are like massive wrestling addicts. So I'm actually doing like planning a strategy over here, but yeah, we're trying to do something. There's not really a female scene in the rest of Europe, besides the UK. So it would be pretty funny, and it would give a lot of opportunities to a lot of girls, to develop and to improve their art and give them wings to go, to travel the world.
What's the fans in those shows like? Because I remember the fans at Queens of Chaos, and Stu, you know about this as well, and pretty much anybody who's watched one of their DVDs will know about it. Those fans were pretty abusive and pretty nasty, and quite frankly, I don't think they'd be necessarily the kind of crowd that I would want to have at a show, especially if I was a woman, because I think some of the things that they were saying were quite insulting.
Yeah, I remember that. That was really bad. But most of them were hardcore wrestling fans, but not very smart, not very intelligent. But yeah, the kind of audience we've been having is more of a family, kind of audience. So we have little kids, we have entire families just going to watch us. We made like around 300 people on our last show, which is a major improvement from the first to the second show. On the first show, we had like around 100. So we tripled the amount of people, which is a good sign. But it stayed very healthy. The people weren't abusive. They were they were there to have fun, to watch them wrestling, and they were generally nice.
You talk about the women's scene in Europe at the minute. I mean, I think the UK obviously we know quite well, and we've certainly seen a bunch of ladies from mainland Europe coming over to the UK and vice versa. But as far as the fans concerned worldwide here that are listening to this show, who is in Europe, mainland Europe, that people need to be paying attention to? What talents are there out there around mainland Europe?
That's a tough question, because there's not a lot of new talent.
They're kind of scattered around. There's like, different countries have got maybe one or two women's wrestlers.
Yeah, there might be some in Germany. Just on the big countries. I know there's a lot of wrestlers in Italy, but I don't know. It's really hard to say who you should pay attention to. I know that for a fact in France I think people should pay attention to Tristan Archer. He's a friend of mine. He's really good. He trained with Lance Storm. He looks the part. He wrestles. He's pretty good. Like overall, he's an all rounder. So he should be going places. Other than that, in France, my trainer, which is now under the name Blue Falcon, because he's a masked guy. He's really good as well. He trained perfection. Hey.
What about females though? I mean, like, what other female talent is there in Europe that people need to be aware of?
That's the thing. Most of the female, good female wrestlers come from the UK. Ireland, England, Scotland. There's a lot of girls in Scotland, but there's not a lot over here. I can think about one French girl that I really like, which is Morgan Lee. I really, really, really like her, and she needs to work a little bit more, but on some of the basics. But she's got a good character. She's got it going on.
What about Laura Wellings? I know that you wrestle her quite a bit in Switzerland.
Yeah, Laura's really good looking. She's really beautiful. She's got the attitude. I know that she went to America. I don't know if she's back already, but I think she's done really well to go there and learn her bases properly. And I think she will do really well if she really wants to pursue this. I think she's going to the right place, to a proper school, and then trying to establish herself in the U.S. If she wants to go, to a TNA or to a WWE, I think that's the way to go. She was a smart girl. Other than that, Lady Lori is really good. I've wrestled her so many times. It's always a pleasure. We kicked each other's butt like seriously, but we love to do that. And there's that chemistry. It's amazing. And not to mention alpha female. But in regards to new talent, I really can't say anything because there hasn't been anything emerging for the past I'd say year.
Okay.
Other than Morgan Lee, so.
Just something that to bring it back a little bit to your own early career and when you were emerging as a talent, and when you came to Eve, you were pretty much fully formed as far as the whole Portugal's Perfect Athlete thing, and the name and the look and your gear, everything was really, really professional, and it really give a really good first impression for somebody that saw you for the first time. Did you always have that character from the start? Did you always have that name, that look? Right from the beginning, or was that something that you developed over time?
Well, no. I actually when I started in Portugal doing the web shows and actually working on a character, I was given the part of my job was to get girls to go train in the wrestling academy. So I would do promos and squash matches against, some girls, but all that was like an angle to get more girls to go train. So I would be very arrogant and just say that I'm the only Portuguese wrestler, which is right now I'm the only professional female wrestler in the scene, which is true.
She ain't lying.
But it's true. And when I went to France, they decided to call me the Portuguese acrobat. So when I went to Eve, we kind of changed that, again, and it was actually Dan Reed that came up with that, with the Portugal's Perfect Athlete gimmick after a conversation that we had, where he asked me about some of my traits, and being a perfectionist is actually a trait I have. When I get to the ring, I actually, just turn the volume to the max, and I became the character that and love.
Indeed. Well, I mean, let's talk then about the Eve versus Ice Ribbon weekend, where again we first sort of asked you to do the podcast, just to bring that back up again. But that was another great weekend for you. It was the first weekend, I guess, you would have had a chance to wrestle Japanese talent. You had a chance to wrestle Hikaru Minami for the Ice 60 title. I mean, what were your thoughts on that? Did you have any issues wrestling a Japanese wrestler for the first time?
Other than the language barrier, not really. I can adapt fairly to any style or any level, and it was actually pretty awesome. And Hikari is really good. There was a little bit of issues with the the language barrier, but I think we overcame that really well, and the result was pretty good.
And then from there, I mean, 2012 is a year that probably you like to forget a lot of because you had lots of injuries in 2012. We've got hyperextended elbow, dislocated shoulder, and a torn ACL all in that year.
Yes, it's true.
And
The first two were Jenny Shiodine that did that to me, and the ACL was actually in a match for GSW Germany.
And the ACL thing, I mean, now this is what I want to ask you about this one because a torn ACL is something that usually would keep somebody out for, I mean, between 6 months and a year. You had some sort of, I guess, pioneering surgery or something like that, and you were back in 75 days.
Yeah, that's true. I was back in 75 days wrestling Carmel Jacob in France. I had a really good doctor. I had the best doctor in Paris. Very expensive. And after I got surgery, I was moved to a rehab facility where I lived for like 3 months. So I had a schedule. You know, I had the physiotherapist in the morning, and then I had swimming pool and other, and then I'd had to go get massages and stuff. But it was a legit thing for professional athletes. That helped a lot in recovering, and it's just the passion as well for wrestling. That's what made me get out of bed and get to the ring.
What about pain, though? I mean, was it fully healed after 75 days, or was it something that I can deal with this level of pain?
Actually, it wasn't. There is, with this sort of surgery, your tendon, when they remove the tendon and place it, the tendon, the tissue is alive, so it's strong when it's alive, But like about a month and a half afterwards, the tissue dies to transform into a tendon, and that's a delicate procedure, and that's the most dangerous part of recovery is to not do any efforts during that time. So I was actually, I think I was wrestling when all that was transforming inside my knee. So it was pretty dangerous with what I was doing, and I recognize right now, I admit right now that that it was pretty reckless of me, but the pain, I could endure the pain. That was no problem. I really had a good surgery, good medical treatment. So it was just the recklessness of doing it, because the passion for wrestling is so big that I couldn't just keep on sitting in the couch or in bed, just waiting and watching other people, evolve, and I couldn't. I just had to.
Let's talk about a match. In fact, no, Lee, I'm going to let you talk about this. I know you want to talk about a match that you think is one of the best matches you've ever seen live.
Yeah, partly because of the actual match itself, but also partly because the reaction of the fans. I mean, I wrote about it in the Ring Bells Roundup. It was about a year ago. It was your match against Emi Sakura, and it was at Alternative Wrestling World in Wolverhampton in England, and I know that it wasn't the match that you were supposed to be having because you were supposed to be wrestling Kaylee Ray, but she'd injured herself the day before at Pro Wrestling Eve's No Man's Land 2, so she wasn't available. You got Emi Sakura as a replacement, and what a replacement it was, because you guys turned around that crowd in a way that I've never seen any crowd turned around ever at a wrestling show. It was just phenomenal.
Yes, it was. It was a fantastic experience. It was my best match so far, still. Emmy is a great professional. She's just one of the top wrestlers, in as far as my opinion goes. And I really have the utmost respect for her. And what we did that day, I was in tears. It was just beautiful. It was, it was changing the minds of people that were watching and didn't believe in female wrestling until they started seeing us. And pretty wicked.
Because I mean, at the start of the match, I was sitting maybe about 7-8 rows back from ringside, and there were people trying to say jokey things around me, you know, kind of maybe things that may be a little bit sexist, or as far as Japan was, or Japan was concerned, a little bit racist perhaps. And by the end of it, everyone was just there were no more jokes or anything like that. I was just going to say, people saying, "God damn, this is one of the best matches I've ever seen." I mean, when you were in the ring, did you hear a lot of that stuff?
Yeah, I actually I heard some of the racist comments, and I was like, ugh, you know, but you have to do your job, and so you kind of try and ignore that or work with it, you know, towards the sense of the match, you know. But when I started hearing people chanting and people saying this is awesome, it kind of struck me. I was like, this is actually going pretty well. So when we had the standing ovation in the end, I that's when I realized that our job was done.
I guess is that one of those kind of to unfortunately borrow the cliche of yours, but do you think it was a perfect series of events? Because there might have been certain situations where things may not have clicked in that way, or it may not have necessarily got the reaction that it did, but everything just kind of fell into place at that moment, in that place, on that day.
Yeah, I feel that that's what it was. That it was just, it's hard to explain. It's still overwhelming to me to talk about this. And from time to time, I go and watch the match and watch it again and again. You know, just that match makes me feel inspired. You know, inspired to do the same or better. But yeah, I think that day was just a series of, you know, Kelly Ray not coming, and the replacement, and the Dan's decision to put Emmy, and the training with Emmy before, and everything just fell into place.
It's something that I wanted to bring up as well, and I wanted to make a big point about it, because I think it's important to show that, you know, given the right kind of momentum, the right kind of work, you can turn a crowd around. It's a perfect example of what wrestling should do, is be able to draw a crowd in, and essentially made them break whatever mindset that they had. I just thought it was just a work of art. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, one thing you've talked about is your desire to move forward this year and establish yourself more in the US. And I mean, last year you were involved in the TNA GutCheck, which is the big voting thing for someone to get a shot at Impact. And I mean, look, let's be honest, the whole GutCheck thing, I think, was a bit of a botch. But regardless of how it all worked out, you ended up finishing second. I mean, give us your thoughts on that whole GutCheck thing. I mean, you came perilously close to winning it, but at the same time, the person that won it has never actually gone to Impact either. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that whole thing looking back now?
Well, I actually tend to take the positives out of that, and the positive thing about it was that I got a lot of attention.
Yes. And
I got a lot more people, you know, watching my matches and watching my work, and a lot more followers either on Twitter or Facebook. So I actually won a little bit with that. Even if I didn't win first place, I got a lot of attention, and that's what I wanted, you know, just to be out there.
I mean, how much did you really want it? I mean, is this the dream? Is it to get a contracted position in the US? That would be the dream, would it?
Yeah. You know, my dream is the dream of a lot of people, is to do what you love and being paid for it. So it's not actually a job. It's, you know, it's your dream job.
Here's a question I want to ask you, and I don't know if you know the answer to this or anything, but I mean, what happened with Bad Bones? I mean, he won the voting, and I've never heard anything about him since it happened. Is there anything that we need to know about? What happened there?
I guess you had a lot of people in the forums, you know, just trying to get him on first place, which is good. He had he had his followers, and they were pretty fierce, and well, they managed to get him, on the first position. I think that's what it was, and that's good for him.
Well, no, absolutely. I mean, we know that TNA have been doing some budget cuts of late, and I mean that might be why. But I was just wondering, was there any reason why Bad Bones, despite being voted number one, being voted the winner, never went anywhere? I thought maybe just like I don't really know German wrestling all that well, but is there any reason why Bad Bones hasn't gone, other than just it hasn't worked out for him yet?
Well, it's all a question of money. So. If TNA wants to expand to Germany, they will hire a German person, a German wrestler. I think last I heard, he's going to be on the TNA UK tour on the 2nd of February, actually. Despite that, because he won the TNA GutCheck, he was supposed to have a televised GutCheck, which never happened.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Well, TNA is doing those tapings at the end of this month, so maybe that's where they're going to do it, because I guess the price of a flight to London is cheaper than the price of a flight to Orlando, for example.
Yes, that's a fact. So it might happen on the 2nd of February. That televised GutCheck that was supposed to happen, and that might happen now. Who knows?
Well, you must be on TNA's radar as well. I mean, do you have any kind of contact with them? You know, they're doing these shows in the UK at the end of the month. Any possibility?
I do have a contact on TNA. I'm actually under their radar. Right now, I can't really tell you anything. There is a big possibility that I might be on the tour, but I can't confirm anything. So yeah.
Fair enough. Just another thing that you did last year that I wanted to mention, and you already mentioned earlier on in the interview that there's a lot of talent coming out of Scotland, and you wrestled for Fierce Females last year as well in Glasgow. What were your experiences of working in that crowd, that sort of over 18, fairly lagered up Scottish crowd? I mean, how was that for you?
I loved it. They were so loud. It was an amazing crowd. I loved it. I want to go back.
There's nothing quite like the Fierce Females crowd as far as what I can see so far. Yeah, it's tremendous stuff.
Yeah, and I had a lot of fun. I had a really good matches, so I'm pretty happy, and I'd love to come back. So hashtag book it.
Fair enough. Well, look, I mean, let's just sort of go along what you've got coming up this year now. I mean, no comment on the TNA tour at the minute, but we'll see. Obviously, you've got this next US jaunt coming up for WSU. Are there going to be any other matches or any other shows added to your February US trip, or I mean, what's the situation as far as 2014 so far?
I am going to be quite present with WSU and CCW for the whole of 2014. So you're going to see me a lot in America, and for Shine as well. So I will be at the Shine 17th. Mm-hmm. I don't know who I'm wrestling yet, but I will know in due time. Yeah, the dates that I have lined up are the WSU Secret Show on the 7th. So if there's any American fans listening to this, message WSU on their email and try and get a spot on that, because that's limited, that's secret, and that's really good. That's usually very good. WSU showcases a lot of good talent on the Secret Show, so you don't want to miss that. And hopefully on the 8th as well, I'm going to do the double header. So I will do WSU and CZW. I still don't know what I'm going to do on the CZW show. I know for a fact that I will have Jessicka Havok on the 8th for the world title, and that's pretty much it. I have no other info as for now.
But you're still going to be hanging around in Europe as well, bringing a dose of perfection over here as well. I mean, you'll still be involved with ABC Catch. You'll still be coming to the UK regularly, I would assume.
I haven't been on the UK for a while, so I might come back after I finish the February tour. I know I have to make a little trip to Portugal in March, but and I have already a show lined up in France for March. So I might be coming back to England around that time. I know that I have to go back to America in April, May. So yeah, I give you another info. April, May in America, in June as well in America.
Bloody hell. There's going to be quite a few stamps in that passport.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
a lot of questions in the on the border.
Well, I guess this is where we kind of come up to, I guess, the broken biscuit section is the things we couldn't really work in, but it's probably something that a lot of people who are listening to this interview might be a bit surprised about, and it's just the fluency of your English, because it's not your first language. And here we are having a very full conversation with you speaking fluent English to us. And I remember having a conversation with you a year ago, and I was thoroughly embarrassed at the fact that I don't speak a second language. And how many is it that you speak?
I actually speak 5 different languages.
5.
And as good as my English is, so.
Wait, what are these languages? Well, we've got Portuguese, we've got English.
We got Spanish, and we got Italian, and a little bit of Japanese.
Is anybody else feeling, a little bit embarrassed right now?
Slightly inadequate, yeah.
I know I do. This is terrible. I don't really know what's, because I feel kind of ashamed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention French.
6 languages. Okay. Oh, great. Well, it's scary, isn't it, Stu?
Yeah, it is. I can just about manage 1.5. She may speak better English than we do.
Well, it's not hard, really, is it?
Oh, don't say that. I do have a little accent, I think. I feel.
That's a good thing. But the other parts is just some of you as well, and learning about you, because people kind of think, well, what's Shanna into? And as far as we can tell from your Twitter, for example, video games is in there.
Yes, I'm a massive video game addict. I'm into fitness and Zumba dancing, and I am going back to acrobatics gymnastics. Next Wednesday. So yeah, I'm into a lot of stuff. I'm learning to play guitar. I have a small project that involves a sewing machine. So yeah, I'm learning a lot of stuff. I like to learn stuff.
And then Stu, you're probably going to like Shanna's taste in music.
Yeah, 80s rock.
80s rock. I love Whitesnake and Def Leppard, Iron Maiden.
Yes.
I like Bon Jovi. Some people don't like Bon Jovi. I love Bon Jovi. Europe and Skid Row. All those glam rock bands from the 80s.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about a band now, and how you react to this will determine how good friends we become in future. But
oh God, here we go.
I need to just say one word to you: Kiss.
Oh my God, I was made for loving you, baby.
I'm going off headset. I'm gonna let you two talk amongst yourselves right now. This podcast's going to go on for 3 hours.
I'm sorry, that's awesome. I don't know what to say other than the fact that my heart's beating a little bit faster now. But
it's not just Portugal's perfect athlete; it's Portugal's perfect human.
Yeah.
Oh
no. Let's put it like this: I was with her on the video games. I'm with her on the 80s rock. I'm less with her on the acrobatic gymnastics. But I guess I could always look into it.
Well, you could start. You could start doing it.
I would be very bad at
with the role.
that. I guess you can always start. Yeah. Lord, right. Okay, before we turn this into a Kiss podcast, I feel like I owe it to the listeners not to indulge myself too far in this. But what about Alice Cooper, by the way?
I love Alice Cooper. So it's all in those. I listen to a lot of the '80s rock bands. So you're gonna tell me names, and I'm gonna say I love it, like Journey or let me think. Dokken. I love Dokken.
Wow.
Europe?
No one says they love Dokken in 2014 except for Shanna. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but she also likes Europe.
Yeah, that's also true.
Oh my God, I've been to a concert like a few years ago in Portugal. It was amazing. It was my first Europe concert. Ah, I just want to go back. I just want them to come over here.
This is ridiculous.
I love going to concerts. It's something I like doing on my free time.
I dragged Lee to a Kiss concert once. I don't know how much he enjoyed it, but he came at least. He was
I did enjoy it, but I was jet lagged to hell. I might be one of the only people who ever accidentally fell asleep at a Kiss concert.
Hang on, don't say that.
That's
just embarrassing. Man.
It wasn't because of boredom. It was because of fatigue.
Oh my God, Lee, that's ridiculous.
No, I did enjoy it. It's just that I have been awake for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
It's understandable. Well, Stu, if you wanna go to a Kiss concert, I'm here.
Excellent. Well, they're supposed to be touring this year. It's the big anniversary tour. So, we'll work something out. Don't you worry about it.
Let's make that happen.
But you know what we do need to talk about just to wrap everything up is the fact that you said that you used to work in marketing, and one thing that Lee and I have always agreed with regards to you is that you're really good at marketing yourself. You're really good at getting your name out there. You're really good at connecting with people and making sure that people know who you are. So for anybody who's listening to this who doesn't know who you are, doesn't know how to get in touch with you, doesn't know
shame
how
on
to follow you, shame on you for a start. But I mean, how can they see you on Twitter, Facebook, anything else that you want to let people know about?
Well, I'm actually working on my .com website right now, but fans can follow me at Twitter at Shanna_WP, Facebook .com/ I think it's Portugal's Perfect Athlete or Perfect Athlete Official. Sorry, Perfect Athlete Official. It's my main page. And I'm also on YouTube, Shanna_WP as well. So just go there, watch some matches, and go to my store, perfectprints.bigcartel.com. Buy some pictures, buy some T-shirts,
and also take a look at the posters while you're there.
Yeah, Shanna.
That's all I'm going to say with that.
Shanna takes a good picture. If you want to go and check that out, you can buy it on a poster. Yeah. So anyway, Shanna, listen. What did we say at the start? A year and a half in the making.
More.
2
years.
2 years in the make. 2+ years in the making, and an extra week because you had a car crash. But it's been a pleasure to have you on. Lovely to talk to you. Lovely to get to know more of your story. Lovely to know you're a Kiss fan. And
oh yeah,
we look forward. That's going to influence me for the rest of my life now. I'm just going to be like, no, you can't say anything about Shanna. She's a Kiss fan. Yeah. Look, we're going to look forward to seeing a lot more of you in 2014. The US can look forward to seeing a lot more of you in 2014. Go and follow Shanna on all the various social medias that she said, and I'm sure, and I certainly hope that we will get to talk to you again at some point during the year.
All right. Thank you so much for having me over. And I hope everybody listens and follows me on Twitter and give me a lot of attention, because I need a lot of attention on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, on forums. Just talk about me.